actually, I have to say that I am mesmerized about this this the monologue, because it's the problem is that this is not only the peace doesn't rely on everyone accepting Russia. The peace talk and the ceasefire and the diplomacy is about the conversation, these little steps we are taking, the mutual respect. It's difficult to actually have mutual respect if someone is using a war as a diplomatic tool, and the approach to diplomacy revolves around a complete annexation. And strategy creates irreversible facts on ground from military occupation. Then seeking diplomatic negotiation position of strength is quite contradictory to the diplomatic. It's actually use
But
of
they are
force.
in a position of strength, don't you think? Like, I mean, especially since the US is pushing.
Yes, that's actually the thing. The position of strength is not Russia who has it, but actually the other states, the US, the Gulf states, the China, the India as well. Let's not forget about a quite strong economical aspect when it comes to the war. For the countries involved, quite often is actually a tool to actually re-innovate the whole economy. But in the context of country where the war actually takes place, it's not the thing at all. Huge damages from the both sides, and let's look at this for a bit a far perspective. In this war, there is no one who is winning. Everything and everyone is at loss because of the damage, because of the loss of the humans, the people, the societies, the whole communities are really suffering. And this is quite opposite from what my what the doctor Olga has said. I'm sorry if I mixed the name. I'm very sorry. But when in 2022 Russia formally annexed 4 Ukrainian regions, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporozhye, and Kherson, following a sham referendum, using this as a bargaining chip in diplomatic negotiation, they actually did a very proactive action, which didn't show any security concern of the global context. It actually didn't take into account US point of view. The problem here is that we both need to ensure that no one is forced to keep negotiation under the assumption that returning our annexed territory is no longer an option. We are negotiating. If we are negotiating, we are saying, okay, we are negotiating this, but we are not giving you anything at all and just forget about it.
Yes.
It's not negotiation. It's actually
if we could also give Dr. Olga, the right to respond to these.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously, I have something to say about that. Dr. Olga, do you have a response for what Dr. Kamila was talking about, and the idea of annexing territory, and it's just a fact that people are going to have to deal with?
No, it is not. It's not this fact. I think it's a totally twisted narrative because the fact says that from 2014 to 2022, Ukraine official Kiev, they considered Eastern Ukrainian territory, Lugansk and Donetsk as separatists, and they launched this anti-terrorist campaign against these people. So basically, they've been shelling and bombing Donbass for a few years, for 8 years. And Russia came to rescue, basically. And if official Kiev forget this position, probably we should remember this.
Okay.
Well, let's not forget as well that it was not, previously it was the part of Ukraine, and who was bombing whom before. I'm trying to keep here a very fragile compromise stance, because the problem is as well that Western unity is as well Western fatigue. Well, while NATO and EU continues supporting Ukraine, there is a growing concern about the war fatigue. And this is actually something which we can see from the both sides. But that's the reason why we really can rely on the states who actually have a fresh perspective, who actually can look at this from a very different angle. Taking aside the history, like Saudi Arabia, like Qatar, like Egypt, like China, because they don't have what my predecessor said. They don't have the things which we do have as well, which is long-term experience as well as long-term certain, not use the word hostility, but reservation would be better. That's the reason why we actually ensure that this is going to, for instance, Saudi Arabia or Qatar or Kuwait or Egypt will co-host the peace talks between Zelensky and Putin, because this actually will create a neutral plan and the area of cooperation and conversation, and that's most important, the conversation, and without a hostility.